Can you hear me now?
Uh-huh.
Hello, testing.
Hi, guys.
Aha. Yeah, you didn't miss anything last week, Bo. We only ended up with like 3 people on, so we just postponed it for this week. Hello, Richard. Hello, Doug. Hello, Bo. Hello, Westside. Hello, Lurkers. How is everybody? Very nice. Hopefully they do better than you were expecting. That's always the hope, right? You get a better grade than you thought you would. So silver's creeping up towards 39 again. Had a little dip there for a few days, and now it's going back up again. Mint stayed 65 all around. That'd be nice. Yeah, like I said, I think it's going to hit 40 by the end of the year. I still believe that. Ugh. Double your investment. Nice. Just strictly off silver prices. Yeah, I admit, man, back, what was it, 2018, I think, was when it dipped down to like 13 bucks. I wish I would have loaded up on it back then. I forgot my macro. Where's my macro? Macro. So I don't know about all of your neck of the woods, but we're currently in the overall hottest week on record in Tucson. We've had every day this week has been at least 108. It hit 113 yesterday, 112 today. It's been hot. It's been murdering our plants. Indeed. If you pick anything up, I will add it. Since I forgot last time. Alright, let's get the beginning stuffs out the way. For anybody new, payments made via PayPal. Use cheapskatecoins@gmail.com and use goods and services only, please. We also have Cash App using the same email. Cheapskatecoins@gmail.com. If you use Cash App, it will say Louis Kachera. That's me. You are in the right place. Shipping is $6 to $23. $6 being a little purple bubble mailer, $23 being a large flat rate box. So we realized I got to change the macro. We realized that the registered shipping went up by $10. So it is now, if you want it sent registered, it's now $45 on top of the normal price to have your package sent registered. And if you do have it sent registered, it is the only way you can insure coins all the way through the mail, and you will have to sign for it when it arrives, so keep that in mind. So that was the first registered package we sent out in like a year, so we didn't even know the price changed. So if you're new, you can't get stuff tonight. You just have to email us by the end of the night. Email has to have your personal info, shipping info, your channel name, which payment method you're going to use, and what payment method you use for invoicing purposes. If we do not get that email, you will not get anything, and you never get anything without payment. Yeah, you know, they're always looking for ways to make more money. Well, I mean, oddly enough, the regular shipping prices didn't go up this year. It was just certain specialty things and registered went up. And then, like, I think the price of stamps went up like it normally does. But, like, for the flat rate stuff, the price really didn't change this year. All right, here's our Facebook link. Today's lot list is on there. It is the top post. We do put the lot list on there every day we have a sale. If you want to be on our mailing list, we do have a mailing list. Send me an email, cheapskatecoins@gmail.com, and say, add me to the mailing list. If you're on the mailing list, you will get the lot list a couple of days before every sale. And then you have the ability to pre-purchase items as soon as that email hits. It is first come, first serve, just like our sales. So if you want something, don't wait, jump on it. And we do not invoice until the night of the sale, so you will not get charged right away for pre-sales. And then, of course, on Facebook, the day of the sale, when we post up the lot list, anything that's sold in pre-sale has been removed. So what is on that list is what is available. As always, check down in our description for all the rest of our rules and policies. Something I just want to throw out as a reminder, because it's been kind of popping up lately. So, as part of our rules and policies, you have 7 days to get your payment in. And if you're going to need more time, just email us and let us know. That's all you have to do. Just communicate with us. So that way we know what's going on. And then, of course, you know, as all of our regulars know, you know, if you're on a fixed income, you get paid on, you know, only on the 1st or on specific dates. All you have to do is let us know ahead of time, hey, I get paid on this date, I'll pay it on this date, and we'll be like, all right, cool. But it's just communication. Keep communication open. When you guys aggravate us is when we don't hear from you, and then we try and email you, and we don't hear from you. Communicate, and then all will be good in the world. At least the cheapskate world. Ow! I just whacked my knee. Alright. I'm going to give it 5 minutes, see if we can get anybody else in, and then we'll get this thing going. Right? I know people that do that. I know people that still have forever stamps from like 10 years ago because they bought just a ton of them. With how much the post office keeps saying they're struggling with money, I'm surprised that they're even keeping the forever stamp program. We got 13 people on right now. Hello, everybody. Oop, now down to 9. I guess they didn't like me saying hello. They're like, ah, run away. All right, got about 3 minutes, and then we'll get going. She finally got a couple more ancients in, which is pretty cool, that are in the list tonight. So if anybody is wanting to add some ancient silver, you will have the opportunity to tonight. All right, 2 minutes. One minute. Is the chat not loading correctly? It seems, I don't know. I just realized I wasn't on live chat, though. Now I am. If you're looking for the top fans thing, I turned that thing off. That thing's annoying. I think Doug made that up, Westside. I don't think it's a real thing. Yeah, Rick also sells stamps at his shop, and he's constantly trying to get me to go into stamps too, and I'm like, dude, no. Stamps are not my thing. All right, here we go. Hopefully we'll get some more people as we go. But we are kicking off, as always, with banknotes. The one silver note did go on pre-sale, so we are doing the world banknotes. First one up, we have 2 available. They are 1981 GAWs from China. They are fractional banknotes. They are uncirculated and $2 each. Or if anybody wants both, I'll do both for $3. Save you $1. And Richard is taking both. Gratzer. All right. All right, next one up. Also 2 available, and I'll do the same thing. $2 each. Or if anybody wants both, I will do both for 3. For 2018, these are 5 bolivars from Venezuela, uncirculated. These are the ones that have the upright obverse. And then the reverse on this one is the poison dart frog. Anybody on these? Bring this up a little more. Doug's been in both and giving one to Richard. So Richard, you are getting one of those courtesy of Doug. Only need one poison frog. Right, next up. $2003, 250 dinars from Iraq. Uncirculated for $4. Anybody? All right, moving on. And then we also have a 1981 25 dinar. Going for $4. If anybody wants both Iraqs, I'll do both for $7. Save you another $1. Enjoy your eats. All right, moving on. Next up is a 1970 1,000 drachma from Greece. It does have some writing on the obverse. So apparently somebody needed to remember that they had to pay somebody 75,000 drachma. Hopefully they got that paid. And that's why it's only $2. It's because of the writing. Otherwise, this would be like a $5, $6 banknote. And that is Alexander the Great. I've still got an ancient from his dad. It's Philip II. It's from like 359 BC. Still available if anybody ever wants it. All right, moving on. All right, next one up, I got 2 available. Have $4 each. These are 1920 10 marks from Germany. If anybody wants both, I'll do both for $6. So you save $2 if you grab both. Been trying to blow a lot of these old German notes out. So I'll give you all a bit of a discount if anybody wants both. All right, moving on. All right, and then the last banknote of the night is a 1920 100 mark. I'll throw this one in that German bundle too. If anybody wants all 3, I'll do all 3 for $9. So it'll save you $3. And Richard is bidding the deal for all 3. Grat, sir. Alrighty. Next up, I do have 1 medallion lot tonight. It is actually a set of 4 large pewter medallions. They are a History of Colonial American series. Doing it for $15 for all 4. So that's the first one. These are in 2.5 by 2.5 holders. These are big, thick pewter medallions. So that one's for a New Orleans thing. This one with the cool ship in the background. And that's the pilgrims who came over from England. Hey, Moose Ox. And then this one. It's Providence of Rhode Island. Established in 1636. Very, very cool artwork on these. Awesome designs. And then this is number 4. For Connecticut adopted. $99 silver $half is still available, sir. But since we already started, you have to wait till we get there. Anybody, all 4 for 15 bucks. Beautiful artwork, awesome pewter medallions. This kind of thing Chef would probably be all over if he was on. Chef loves these things. All right, moving on. All right, next up, Ancient. I have got 3 of these available. If for some reason anybody wants all 3, I'll give you a deal on them. So these are 519 to 628 AD Sasanian Kings. Khusro II. Persian silver drachmas. These are 90% silver drachmas. It is the Sasanian Kings is the second Persian Empire. All 3 of them are AU, and they're 85 bucks each. So the reverse there, that's a fire altar. And then of course the obverse is the portrait of Khusro II. And should anybody for whatever reason want all 3, I will do all 3 for $210. That drops them to 70 bucks each. So it saves you $45 if you get all 3. Just in case there's anybody who really likes collecting as much ancient stuff as you can get your hands on. Which is actually not a bad thing to do, considering with all the trade treaties and everything that we have now, the only ancients that can be sold here now are what's already here. For, what is it, the last few years or so, there's been a ban on bringing any new ancient coins here. Because all the countries are trying to recover all of their history. Anybody? There are 1,500-year-old coins right there. Oh, they're not. I get it. I mean, I could tell you they're not, but, you know, I understand people wanting to make sure that these have all been confirmed by an ancients expert. All right, you got it. And if you want to know who confirmed it, it was Michael Steinmetz, the owner of Steinmetz Coins. He owns a shop in New York and a shop in Philadelphia. All right, so sir, you are getting them for $70 each on the deal. Congrats. Yeah, I'm the same way. I will not buy ancients unless I know they're real. So if you guys see them on my stream, that means that they are confirmed to be real. All right, next up. Got 3 of these available today. These are the 10 large British large cent bundles for $10. Got 3 bundles available. Hey, Dandy Dave. All right, bundle number 1. This is kicking off with a 1906 King Edward. Oops, side flip. $19.16. That was in pretty good shape, too. $19.19. $19.21. Why are they selling cheap? Because I like you guys. $19.40. $19.48. I can raise the price on them if it'll make you happier. And this one is going to Richard. No, I know I can make more off them, but I like giving you guys you know, nice little bundle deals. If I was selling those individually, those would be like $2-3 a piece, depending on which one they are, at least. All right, bundle number 2. And I appreciate that, sir. Bundle number 2, you're starting off with a 1915. 1917. 1920. 1921. 27. That is a really good 27. That's either a high VF or a low EF. That is a nice coin right there. So we're going to Richard. And you're getting the 40, 45, 62, 61. That was out of order. And 67. And the last one, bundle number 3. Make sure this one's in order. All right. Already going to Richard. All right, Richard, on this one, you're getting a 6, 15, 17, 21, 27, 40, 48, 61, and 67. So you at least know your dates. Congrats, congrats, and congrats. All right, next up is Canadian large cents. Gifted 1915, Doug. Will do. Let me make a note on your thing here. Ship a 1915 to Doug. All right. Let me find one. Oh, that was easiest on top. 1915 on Doug's pile. All right. Alrighty. All right, first one of these, I've got 2 available. One is a VF, one's a VG. This is the 1882H. The VF is $8, the VG is $6. H is the Heaton and Sons mint mark. It's the family-owned mint that was out of London. So there is the VF. So that's the $8 one. And here's the VG. That's the $6 one. And both going to Richard. Congrats, sir. Richard beat you, Moose Sox. Next up is 1888 VF, $8. And going to Richard. Congrats, sir. No wee pennies this week. But stick around my channel enough, you'll see plenty of them. Next up is 1901 VF for $8. That was the last year of the Queen Victoria. 1902 switched over to Edward. And going to Richard. Gratzer. And then speaking of Edward, I've only got one Edward year available tonight. It is the 1904. And it is in a fine for $5. Edward the 7th. And going to Richard. Gratzer. Do you? That's awesome. A very cool set to finally get when you finally get it completed. It's awesome. Next up, 1915. Fine for $5. And going to Richard. And for anybody who doesn't know, the Canadian large cent collection goes from 1858 to 1920. 1920 had both large cents and small cents. Next up is 1916. And the 58 is the 1858, the very first one, is the main key date of the series. That's the one that you're going to be, even in a lower grade, you're going to be looking at a couple $100. Going to Richard. And then there's a few other scattered around ones that are a bit more pricey. 1907 H, for example. A good example of that one's probably going to run you about $40. 1917. Fine for $5. If you get it a high grade, yeah, they're definitely worth a lot more. Like, if you wanted to go for an uncirculated set of these, unless you have a six-figure income, don't even attempt it. Then we got the 1918. Fine for $5. Going to Richard. 1919, fine for 5. Yeah, a couple of these could have probably had an argument for low VF, but I'd rather grade low than high. Going to Richard. And then the last one. Last one's only $3 because it does have some scratches on it. It's the 1920. It's in a VG. A little bit of scratches right there. And going to Richard for $3. And then a little bit on the back there. Gratzer. Alrighty. Clean sweep to the Canadian large cents. Still got some more of the old Canadian tokens. I've just got to get them better labeled before I can have them in a sale. I have like 7 or 8 more of them. The old, like the really old ones. All right, next up, World Silver. We are also kicking off World Silver with Canada. We were just talking about silver. Thinking it's going to be passing that $40 mark soon. And we're kicking off 1941. 10 cent. 80% silver and fine for $3. Melt on these things right now is like $2. Anybody? Let's see what the exact number is. Give me a sec. Oh, I was low. Melt value on these right now is $2.29. So these are going out for, well, this particular one is going out for 71 cents over melt. So that is $2.29 worth of silver right there. Nothing wrong with that. All right, moving on. Surprised nobody grabbed that just for the silver, if nothing else. Next up, 1947. This one's in a VF for 4. All right, moving on. Next up, got another $3 one. 1949. This one's in a fine for $3. All right, moving on. I'll tell you what, anybody wants all 3 dimes? I'll give you $1 off. I'll make it $9. That way it's just $3 even across the board. So if anybody wants the dime deal, just let me know. Next up, we have 1/4. It is a 1966 BU. Over $8. 80% silver. Let's see what the melt on these guys is right now. Current melt. Hang on. Getting into NGC real quick. Current melt on these for the 25 centers right now is $5.73. Just in melt. All right, moving on. All right, next up, got $1/2. It is a 1964 50-cent. It is an AU for $14. Even as an AU, it's still nuking out the camera. God. All right, moving on. And the last one of Canada, I am actually amazed this thing is even still in stock. But surprisingly, nobody has grabbed it yet. At original mintage of only 339.6K. The 1936 $1 BU going for $90. Anybody? Man, nobody wants this thing. I can go 85 Moose Socks. Going to Moose Socks for 85. Congrats, sir. All right. Anybody decide you want any more of that Canadian coin? Let me know. All right, next up we got one coin from Germany. Oh, quit flipping out, mouse. What the heck are you doing? Oh my lord, what is going on with my mouse? Hang on. I'm having a technical difficulty. There we go. That was weird. All right, this is a 1977 F. 10 marks, Germany. It's really like a BU proof like. That's the Olympic spiral. 62.5% silver, going for 18 bucks. Beautiful coin. Anybody? Going to Dandy Dave. Congrats, Dandy Dave. All right, next up, we actually have a coin from Poland tonight. We don't get Poland all that often on coins. It's a 1974 200 Zlotic. And this one's going to Doug. Doug was quick on that one. There you go, sir. All right. Next up, we are going to the Netherlands East Indies. First one up on these. We've actually, it's three of the same coin, but they're different grades. So they're the 1942 1/10 golden. There's an EF, an AU, and a BU. So the EF is $3. Then we got an AU toned for $4. And a BU tone for $5. And EF is actually toned as well. So this is the $3 one. The EF. $42. And this was going to Doug. Congrats, sir. And then here is the AU. This is the $4 one. And then here is the BU. This is the $5 one. Hey Taylor, man, we haven't seen you in ages. How have you been? So anybody else got the BU and the AU still available? $4 and $5, respectively. You got married? Congrats, man. All right, moving on. All right, next up we are going to New Zealand. Kicking off New Zealand is the 1934 3 pence. Well, hello, Miss Sizer. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. It's got kind of that dark toning going on. 50% silver, good. $3. Yeah, Taylor got married.
Huh?
Taylor
Oh.
got married since he's been around last, and he's
Oh.
showing his wife our channel tonight.
Oh, okay. Well, congratulations.
Anybody on this one? $3. Well, hey, man, we hope to have you back again soon as a regular again.
I am going to bed.
Did you want me to check that one last time real quick?
It hasn't hit. I checked.
Oh, okay. All right, I love you.
Love you so.
All right, moving on. To the 1942 2 dots. There's a 1 dot variety and a 2 dot variety on this coin. This is the 2 dot. This is EF tone, $6. And the dots are down there by the date. You have 1 dot on each side. If it was the 1 dot variety, there would be 1 dot on one side. Hey, Trent. Man, getting a bunch of old names back in tonight. Haven't seen you around for a while either, Trent. Got a new job working for Atmex? That's cool. You want all 3 of them? You got it, sir. All 3 of the Netherlands East Indies coins going to Taylor. You want your package held to maximize your shipping? Or do you want me to just send it out after tonight? Oh yeah, I can't do all 3. Doug got 1 of them, so you'll get 2 of them. You'll get the AU and the BU. All right, moving on. And then the last one for New Zealand is 1946 sixpence VF for 5. Will do, sir. Anybody? Man, no love for New Zealand tonight. All right, moving on. All right, next up is their next door neighbor, Australia. All right, so all of the coins from Australia tonight except one are shillings. And I have one of them out of date order. Whatever. It happens. All right, first one, 1943S AU. 925 sterling going for $10. These things, for some reason, ended up all out of date order, so I apologize for them being shown out of date order. All right, moving on. So next one on the list is the 1963. This is one of the 50% silver years. It is VF for $4. All right, moving on. And jumping back down to the 1942 plain date. And hang on. Okay. Yep, my list was all messed up. Hang on, I gotta fix this one. That's why it seemed like they were out of order. Because the next 4 coins are not shillings, they're florins. But for some reason on the list they said shillings. So I gotta fix these real quick. Give me 1 sec. Florin. 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 Oh, Florin. All right. Now we got it right. All right, 1942 plain date Florin. There we go. 925 sterling silver VF, 14 bucks. All right, moving on to the 44S Florin. Extremely fine, 15 bucks. This one actually might have been a low AU, but I wanted to play it safe. Hey, Monkey King. So I put it as an EF. I do too. I'm actually surprised we don't have more people to get them. All right, moving on. And then from the 50% silver year, 1954. AU at 12. It's got some toning going on. All good, man. You know there'll always be more. Trying to adjust the camera or the lighting. Got a lot of coins nuking the camera tonight. Hang in there, man. You'll get back on your feet. All right. And the last of the Florins, 1960. This one is a BU. That is a gorgeous BU. Look at that. That is a stunner. 15 bucks. That is just insane. That one might be grade worthy. Yep, that's the attitude you got to have, man. I've been homeless 3 times. And that is definitely the attitude you got to have. And then you will land on your feet again. And that thing is stunning. I'm getting mesmerized by it. I might have that one priced too low. Give me a sec. Yeah, melt value on this thing alone is $6 and... Hang on. Yeah, $6.94. Yeah, I might have this thing like about maybe like $10 too low on the listing price. Going to Dandy Dave. That was a good thing you did that, because yes, the next sale that one would have been $10 more. All right, and then the last one from Australia is the 1 year they did the 80% silver 50 center when they switched to the decimal system. 1966 BU, $14. Only year they ever made that silver 50 center. And one of the coolest reverses. The big old kangaroo and the big old emu. That is just a cool coin. Any collector of World Silver, if you don't have one of these, you should get one. Man, this one's going to Doug. Congrats, Doug. Emu, and Doug. All right, next up is the Netherlands. Not to be confused with the East Indies we did before. This is just the straight up Netherlands. All right, first one, we got two available. They're both VFs. These are the 1955 1 gulden. They're $7 each, 72% silver. There is a number one. There is a number two. Anybody? $7 each. All right, moving on. And then the next one up, we also have two available, but one is an EF and one's a VF. This is the 1956 1 gulden. EF is $8, VF is $7. So there's the EF. That's the $8 one. And there is the VF. That's the $7 one. Anybody? They're definitely not to be messed with, that's for sure. Especially the males. These things are just giant packs of muscle. Alright, moving on. And the last one. This coin is another one that's just beautiful. This is the 1964 2.5 gulden. It is a BU and 25 bucks. It's almost the size of an American silver dollar. Not quite. Let's see what melt on this one is right now. Just out of curiosity. You guys ready for this? Current melt on this coin, $22.09. So as a BU, you're getting this thing for less than $3 over melt. You can't even get generic silver rounds for that. Oh, wait. Hang on. I looked at the wrong one. That was the Netherlands Antilles 2.5 gulden. All right. Regular Netherlands. Okay. Yeah, I was off. Regular Netherlands is melt value is $13.26. I caught myself. It kind of makes you wonder how big the Antilles one is. The weight on this one is 15 grams. If it was the Netherlands Antilles ones, that would be 25 grams. Dang. Almost twice the size. Or twice the weight, at least. Antilles is 37 millimeters. The standard is 33 millimeters. So it must just be a thicker coin, too. So yeah, so for this one, $13.26 just in melt. Are you trying to get a low ball on it? All right, moving on. All right, next up, Panama. All right, the two half Balboas went in pre-sale, but both of the one Balboas are still available. They are both very low mintage. First one is the 1969 one Balboa, 90% silver proof. Only 14,000 ever made. Over 48 bucks. And then we also have the 1971 at only 18,000 minted. 90% silver proof. I'll give you guys a bit of a deal tonight. If anybody wants both, I'll do both for 90 bucks. That saves you $6 if you get both. Anybody? $48 each or both for 90. Current melt value on these is $29.55 each. Tell you what, actually, I'll do you a better deal. Because I'm in a good mood tonight. If anybody wants both, I'll do both for $84. That knocks $12 off the top if you get both. That makes them $42 each. That's a heck of a deal. I'm actually surprised Richard isn't jumping on that deal. Wow, nobody. Doug's like, all right, I can't let that pass. Congrats, Doug. Hey, you just got a screaming deal, Doug. Be happy about that. All right, last country for world silver is Austria. Balboas are one of the most collected non-American coins in the world. It's one of the reasons why their prices are so high, especially for some of the harder to get dates are really expensive. All right, kicking off Austria tonight is the 1957 10 shillings. 64% silver VF. Going for $8. Heck, there's some of, you go back far enough, there's even some of the 1/10 Balboas and the quarter Balboas that are, $50+. And then, of course, if you can ever actually get a hold of one of the pill coins, which is the 2 centavo, the old silver ones, those things are up there in price, too. And then, of course, you got the gigantic 20 Balboa. And then I think they have a 100 Balboa for the gold coin. All right, moving on to the 1971 10 shilling. This one is a BU. NGC list on this coin is $36. I'm doing it for 20. Look at that. That is gorgeous. That is another coin with that is just luster for days. And by the way, that listing price, that's at Mint State 60. Promise you, this is higher than a 60. If I had to take a guess on this one, I'm not an expert grader, but I would say minimum at least 64. Wow, nobody on that one. I thought sure somebody would have grabbed it. All right, moving on. Next up, one of the cool things about being a country that's been around forever is that it opens you up to be able to do a 1,000th anniversary for something. This is the 1976 100 shilling. 1,000th anniversary of Corinthia. 64% silver, BU, $30. It's my birth year. I need to get one of these someday for my birth set. That'd be cool. And the Austria Mint has been running consecutively for almost that entire 1,000 years. They're at like 950 years at that rent. That it never has stopped production throughout all that time. It is the longest continuously running mint in the world by a lot. All right, moving on. All right, last world silver coin of the night. 1977. 100 shillings. This one is the 900th anniversary of Hohensalberg. I think that's how you say that. Or is it Hohensalberg? I don't know. That fortress. I think it's Hohensalberg. I'm probably way off. But it is a BU and it is $30. Anybody? We're actually almost done. All right, moving on. Man, I'm surprised nobody wanted either of those. All right, American coinage. All right, Lincoln Cent Proofs took a bit of a hit in pre-sale. So that pack of 10 1962s is gone. And then out of the singles, everything from the 60 to 64 is gone. And then the 2007, 8, and 14 are sold. So I'm going to link the rest of these real quick. These are all going to be $2 each. So still available for the Lincoln Cent Proofs is the 94. $95. 96. 98. 2004. And 2006. Those are all $2 a piece. If anybody wants all of them, I'll do a bundle deal on them. So there's your 94. 95. 96. 98. 2004. And 2006. If anybody wants all of them, I'll do all of them for $9. That saves you $3. Makes them $1.50 each. Anybody? Going to Kelly. Congrats, Kelly. Kelly is getting that deal. All right. There it is. Ah. Don't need you. Go away. Alrighty. Alright, and last up for the list tonight is the Silver Kennedy Proofs. Kicking off with the 1994. 90% silver proof decam, 15 bucks. Going to Thomas. Congrats, Thomas. And I'll let you have that Moose Ox. 99 going to Moose Ox because he's been asking about it since the very beginning. All right. So 94 to Thomas. 99 to Moose Ox. All right. And then next up, one of the lower mintage dates of the early silver proof sets. 1996. This one's going for 20 bucks. '96 and '97 were the two lowest mintage of the early proof set or silver proof sets. Which gives their coins from those years a bit of a better premium. Anybody? All right, moving on to the 2000. Over 15 bucks. All right, moving on to the 2001. Over 15 bucks. Going to Thomas. Congrats, sir. Then we got the 2006. Again, going for 15 bucks. All right, moving on. And then the last coin of the night. The 2008. Going for 15 bucks. All right, while y'all are looking at that, start the recap. All right, banknotes. The 2003 250 dinar from Iraq, the 1981 25 dinar from Iraq, and the 1970 1,000 drachma Greece are still available. And I did a deal on the Iraqs. If anybody got both the Iraq banknotes, it was $6 instead of $8. Anybody on those? All right, the 4 History of the Colonial America large pewter medallion set is still available at $15. That's this set. These are in 2.5 by 2.5s. These are pretty big. Beautiful artwork on them. It's $15 for the whole set of 4. All right. And then Canada, everything on the Canadian silver except for the 1936 dollar is still available. So that's the 41 10 cent, the 47 10 cent, the 49 10 cent, the 1966 25 cent, and the 1964 50 cent. Anybody on the Canada? All right, all 3 New Zealand coins are still available. That's the 1934 3 pence, the 1942 2-dot variety 3 pence, and the 1946 6 pence. Anybody on those? All right, Australia, everything except for the 1960 florin and the 66 50 cent are still available. So that's the 1943 S shilling, 1963 shilling, the 1942 plain date florin, the 44S florin, 1954 florin, and the 1960 nope, 60 is already sold. So anybody on the Australia? All right, Netherlands. All 5 of the Netherlands coins are still available. It's 2 1955 1 guldens. They're both VFs. There's 2 1956 1 guldens. One is an EF, one's a VF, and then there's the 1964 2.5 gulden. And then all 5 Austria coins still available. And then American coins, the only American coins still available are the 96 Kennedy and the 2000 Kennedy and the 06 and 08 Kennedys. You're very welcome, sir. So anybody on anything? Austria bundle. Let me have a look. I could knock $13 off the top. So it would have been $88, so it'd be $75. All right. So that makes that a 5, that makes that a 15, and all going to Doug. And that is some great coins you got tonight, Doug. I'm actually kind of jealous. I'm jealous of a lot of you guys' collections because I've sold you a lot of it, so I know what's in there. And I know you guys probably think I have like this big, amazing collection. Not really. I've sold all the good stuff to you guys. So a lot of the stuff that we do have in our collection is a lot of the really basic stuff. Anybody else? Anybody else want to know about bundles? I might be able to bundle some other stuff out if anybody wants to know. You can always ask. I'm going to show these one more time just because the artwork on them was so cool. I know a lot of people aren't into the Exonumia, but the artwork on these is awesome, and they deserve being seen one more time. These are those medallions that are these are pewter medallions. These things are giant. That's the first one. Then the one with the cool ship on it. And the name of that ship is actually on the back of the medallion. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with that name. The Mayflower. That came to Plymouth. So that is an artist rendition of the Mayflower. And that's the third one. That's why I said these deserve being shown again. These have some beautiful art. That's for Providence of Rhode Island becoming a permanent settlement. And then that was the last one. And again, these are all still available. $15 for the whole set. And that was Connecticut. Adopting the fundamental orders of the document known as the Constitution. It's too bad that the government today is not adopting the Constitution. That'd be nice. Yeah, those are awesome. Still available if anybody wants them. But all right, last call on everything. Quick. Who knows the actual name of Rhode Island? I didn't even know it had a different name. Are you going to tell us? State of Rhode Island and Providence plantations. Well, that's just a mouthful. So yeah, I think it's good that it's just Rhode Island now. That's why they shortened it. It's just Rhode Island now. You guys were only $245 away from a sellout tonight. You guys got close. Yeah, I never knew that. Thank you for that fact. I always like learning new little factoids. Hey guys, I'm going to get out of here. Everybody, thanks for coming out. As always, give me a bit to get the invoices out. I appreciate everybody for coming out and have a great weekend. And I will see you guys next time.